What is up, YouTube? We're back from the YouTube video. We're here with a Sepulcher Legend Lost Sector guide. And to find this lost sector, you're going to want to go to your Destinations tab and go to Savathun's Throne World. Then when you spawn in, go to the Quagmire, the only landing spot. And then when you spawn in here, pretty much just follow the path here. It does look a little confusing, but if you know your way around, it should be pretty easy. But I'm going to show you the path here just in case. Now, you can go from a number of different ways, but this is just one way that you can go from. And you're just going to follow this kind of court area, I guess you can call it. I'm not really too sure. But just follow this road, or I should say pathway, and it'll end up leading you straight to the fluorescent canal. So you can see in a couple of, I don't know, miles, we're going to end up hitting the new area. You're going to see it on the left side of the screen. So you're going to see it right there, fluorescent canal. And now when you enter this area, you can see right where this public event is happening. That's where you want to go for your lost sector. Now I'm just going to make my way here. And once you reach this area, the lost sector is going to be located right down here. Now if you don't see this little icon here, or this flag, or the icon on your map right here, that means you have to complete it normally. So you'll have to go through here. And inside this little cave area, you'll have to kill all the enemies, kill the boss, loot the chest at the end, and you'll unlock Legend and Master difficulty for this lost sector. So you can see as I get inside, we're going to reach the Sepulcher portion of it. And you can see in this bright white room here, this is the start of the lost sector with these AI here. You go around, kill all the enemies, and then, like I said, kill the boss, loot the chest at the end, and you'll unlock Legend and Master difficulty for the lost sector. But now we're going to go back up here, and then we're going to go over the modifiers, and then we'll get into the gameplay as well as the loadout. But you can see, to make your way back up here, it's pretty simple. And then when you get up here, we're going to go over the modifiers. These enemies are going to be super annoying, so I'm just going to throw some threadling grenades, try to deal with them while I read out these modifiers. But we have shielded foes, you'll face combatants with arc and solar shields. Legend modifiers are locked loadout and extra shields. Equipment locked, will not be able to change your equipment after this activity starts. Limited revives. Barrier and unstoppable champions. Solar threat, 25% increase to incoming solar damage. Fire pit, when defeated, acolytes spawn fire pools that cause damage over time. Overcharged weapons. Weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. And then Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Overcharged Fusion Rifle, 25% bonus to fusion rifle damage. Now for the rewards, enhancement cores are uncommon. And if completed solo, exotic leg armor is rare. Recommended power, 1830 and above, you should be fine. Now what we're going to do is get into the loadout, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So here's the loadout that I have put together for this. Now for the subclass, Strand subclass with Silk Strike and Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, and Threadling Grenades. We have Widow's Silk and Threaded Spectre. Then we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Now when it comes to the weapons, our first weapon is going to be the Riptide. And this is one of my favorite fusion rifles. And to be honest, I think it's kind of slept on. I know there is a good majority of the player base that knows about it, but I don't really use special weapons too much, but this is one that I always have on my character. And if you can get one, I highly recommend one with Chill Clip. It's, in my opinion, one of the best fusion rifles in the game. And with that fusion rifle buff, we are going to take advantage of that in terms of doing damage with it. We're also going to be using this to stun the unstoppable champion that's going to pop up in the lost sector. So that's why we have that. And I will show the artifact mods and everything towards the end of the loadout, but just stay tuned for that if that's what you need. But for the secondary, Shadow Price, and it could be any arc auto rifle. If you remember what I was saying in my prior videos for the lost sector guides, I recommend an auto rifle with a big magazine size. You can see this one has 45, and that should be more than enough when it comes to stunning barrier champions. So even if you do miss a couple shots, you should have no problem breaking shields if you know that's something that you have to do. Now the problem with running something less than 40 or whatever is, like, let's say I run an auto rifle that has like 30 shots. If I miss like 5 shots and I'm taking AoE damage, my character's getting a lot of flinch, I'm canceling the reload, I'm in a bad spot, whatever, and I have to run away, I have to reload. I missed the chance to break the barrier shield, and you gotta do it all over again, right? Something with a large magazine that's gonna help you try to mitigate that, and you'll end up getting it done a lot easier when it comes to breaking shields and stuff like that. You can see I have another arc auto rifle right here, and this is the Dark Decider from Iron Banner. You can see this one has 56 in the magazine just off rip. If you add in backup mag, I actually want to see, you go from 56 to 66. So that's pretty much like a mini LMG right there. So that is one option you can use. However, I think Shadow Price just hits a little harder. I do like this in terms of at least doing damage compared to the other one. But remember, to each your own. You don't have to follow this exactly how it is. Feel free to make changes wherever you want. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now when it comes to my heavy slot, we are going to be using Circular Logic. Again, this is my favorite strand heavy weapon. We're going to be taking advantage of the strand buff, and I should have mentioned we are going to be taking advantage of the arc buff with the Shadow Price, so that's why we're using that, as well as barrier champion rounds. But Circular Logic for the heavy, just to carry a lot of heavy ammo, and using our strand subclass, it's going to synergize with it, so when we get kills, we have a chance to generate tangles. When we pick up tangles and we get kills with the tangles, we have potential to spawn special ammo and heavy ammo. So again, that's going to be very useful not only for Riptide, but also for our Circular Logic LMG. And then we have Hatchling just to get those Threadlings spawned. And we have Nanotech Tracer Rockets, which are going to get a little bit of a boost because of a seasonal artifact perk that we're going to talk about later. But that's what it's going to be for the loadout here for the weapons. Now for the helmet, we have Ashes to Assets, Arc Siphon, Strand Siphon, and Strand Siphon. For Ashes to Assets, you gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Arc Siphon is rapid arc weapon final blows, create an orb of power. Strand Siphon is rapid strand weapon final blows, create an orb of power. And that is a second time due to Strand Siphon. I do want to show you that I do have an arc / strand siphon combo artifact mod here. Basically gives you 2 siphon mods in one slot, which is pretty useful. And then I have Harmonic Siphon, which is going to match my subclass element, and you can see my subclass element is strand, so it's going to give me Strand Siphon. That way my strand weapons have the most chances of me generating orbs when I get kills. That way if I use my heavy to kill a bunch of ads, I know I'm going to be generating orbs. That's kind of the thought process behind that. But when it comes to my arms, we have Firepower. Your grenade final blows create orbs of power. Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Then additionally, your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. Fastball. This is going to increase our grenade throw distance. And again, fastball is not that important. You can see if I take it off, it's just my only option. So I was like, you know what, let me use it. But now for the chest pieces, where we have our damage resistant mods, and I have 1 arc and 2 solar. Now there is a lot of solar damage, that's why I have 2 solar damage resistant mods. We have a Lucent Hive that's going to be doing solar damage. We have barrier champions that do solar damage. We have the acolytes that when they die, they're going to spawn fire pools on the ground, and that's just a lot of solar damage, which in my opinion is very annoying. So I have 2 of these, and you can see in the gameplay that I'm also going to be one-shot most of the time due to solar damage, so just keep your eyes out for the solar damage that's there. Now for the arc resistance, there is going to be just a Lucent Hive in the first room that's going to be using arc damage, but there's also going to be in the last room a knight that does arc damage. There's going to be the acolytes, not the acolytes, fireflies or the moths, whatever they call them. Those do arc damage. So in my opinion, the 2 main ones you have to worry about is solar and arc. You can decide if you want to make 2 arc, 1 solar, 2 solar, 1 arc, whatever. If you want to do 1 arc, 1 solar, and 1 void, there is going to be void damage from ogres, but they only pop up in 1 room, so I'm not too worried about it. But again, this is not by any means the only loadout you can use. You can make changes wherever you want. But you can see for my leg armor, we're running the exotic Star Eater scales. And what this allows me to do is once I fill up my super bar, I can overcharge my super with Feast of Light, and when I pick up orbs of power, I overcharge it, and I can stack it to ×4. So that's 4 orbs that I can pick up after charging my super to make it do increased damage. Now we have better already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. And again, for the build, we're picking up a lot of orbs. That way we can get weapon charges to make our weapons do increased damage, but also to fill up our super and overcharge it to do increased damage. Then Strand Weapon Surge. Your strand weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge, and your armor charge now decays over time. And an arc weapon surge is the same thing, but for arc weapons. And remember, this is our strand weapon, and this is our arc weapon. So these two will be taking advantage of the buffs. Now, when it comes to the cloak, we have 2 time dilation mods or decaying armor charge and longer duration, and then we have bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So that's going to do it for all the armor and everything I have there. Before we get into the gameplay, I do want to show my artifact really quick. So you are going to need anti-barrier auto rifle just to break barrier shields, and you're going to need the unstoppable fusion rifle. That way you can break, or not break, you should stun unstoppable champions. But fusion rifles, just know when you're using this, you do have to ADS for like 2 seconds. That way you can load the unstoppable shot and then shoot the champion to stun it. It should work every time with a fusion rifle. If you just wait a couple of seconds to look at the left side of your screen, make sure that it says unstoppable shot ready, then you shoot, you should have no problem doing it. But again, just pay attention to that. But the next one we have here is the arc/strand siphon combo, and this is what allows me to have those 2 siphon mods in one slot, and it's pretty useful, so make sure you grab that. Then we have origin perk specialization 1, and this is mainly just for the greatly improved benefits of nanotech tracer rockets. By no means is this game changing, absolutely meta shifting and stuff like that. I just have it on because I like to run circular logic and it's my favorite heavy. I'm like, you know what, the origin trait is a nanotech tracer rocket, so might as well get a little bit extra damage out of it, but it's not anything too crazy. Then we have the tangles one here. To be honest, it's really nice to have when you're getting kills with your heavy weapon with circular logic, and you have a chance to generate a tangle is pretty useful. And then when you pair that together with things like, which one is it? I mean, this one's pretty good too. Refreshing pickups. Picking up a tangle through elemental orb grants energy to your least powered ability. But this one, elemental munitions. Combatant final blows with tangles or elemental orbs have a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. So remember, using our LMG or whatever strand weapon you're going to use, getting kills with that has a chance to generate a tangle. You pick up that tangle and then you get a kill with it. You have a chance, well, it's not a chance. It's going to always drop you either special ammo or heavy ammo, so just keep an eye out for that. But this can be very useful for when you want to just stack up on heavy ammo. That way you can keep mowing down AI or getting more special ammo for your fusion rifle. So just keep that in mind. But that's everything I have on my artifact. But with that being said, we're going to get into the gameplay now. So you can see we're loading into the Lost Sector right now. And when you spawn in, just throw your grenades, your melee weapon, everything right here. Try to get rid of this knight because they're really annoying. But you can see I did that relatively easily. Try to get a tangle kill to generate some special or heavy. Didn't work in that room, so I was like, you know what, whatever, we move forward. Now when you get here, go to the right side and you can drop a decoy and then focus on the wizard. You can see I'm just using my Riptide and I end up getting that stasis damage to freeze the enemies is pretty useful. And you can see I'm just using my nades, using my melee, using everything that I can pretty much. And AI will continuously spawn to your right and to your left, so just try to keep eyes out on how many AI you have next to you. But I go to the right just to try to not take as much solar damage from that barrier champion and kind of save him for last. But you can see just trying to pick up tangles, that way our abilities can get a lot of energy to them. That way our least used one will get some energy. But feel free to also use your heavy as soon as you enter this room. I kind of forgot I had it until right now. I was like, wait, I got heavy, why am I wasting arc ammo? You can see I got him half HP and then stun him with a barrier auto rifle, and then I just use my Riptide here, which is very useful for stunning champions and stuff like that. But you can see now that we did that, throw your decoy in front of the Lucent Hive and then just use whatever gun you want. You can see I was just trying to freeze them with the Riptide, and to be honest, really easy. You can see I didn't have to use heavy right there, I just used the Riptide. So I was like, that was pretty good. But once you finish this part, this is where I recommend just running straight down here and then go to your left with Riptide. You can see I use grenades to try to clear it out, and then focus on this barrier knight before he leaves the room. Now I mentioned this just because if you're not fast enough, he can just walk away and get in the room that's next, and that's gonna be annoying just because there's gonna be unstoppable champion, there's gonna be another ogre, there's gonna be a Lucent Hive that's doing solar damage, and that's just a whole lot of variables that you don't want to mess around with. But you can see once you do make your way in your next room, this is pretty much identical on both sides of the room, left and right. You can see there's kind of like this tunnel system, I guess you can call it. But you can see I stunned the Unstoppable Champion, and this is a pretty safe spot. I know sometimes Unstoppable Champions will try to push, but I should have highlighted this earlier as well. But when you see when I aim with my fusion rifle there, I load the Unstoppable shot and my gun starts to glow. That's what you're looking for to make sure you can stun the Unstoppable Champion. I could be wrong, but I think the frozen stasis, effect can also stun them, but don't quote me on that. But again, both sides of the room have kind of like this little tunnel system or whatever, and most enemies won't follow you in there. The Thrall and I think the Acolytes will, but the Ogres don't really push all the way into it, so you kind of have that as a safe spot. But you can see we're getting kills, generating orbs. There's our Lucent Hive, and that's pretty annoying because they don't really push you here, but they'll just spam grenades. They'll spam their, fusion at you. Not their fusion, but like their super. But you can see I'm just trying to pick off ads until it's just me and the Lucent Hive, and then the plan was to wait until it's me and the Lucent Hive, and then throw my decoy right next to it so he focuses on the decoy, and then I end up just doing all the damage while he's focusing on the decoy. You can see I saw my opportunity here. There's still a couple AI, but I went through the decoy down, and then I try to freeze him and then switch to my heavy. You can see I did that, and then you should have no problem. You can see I don't know why he decided to run all the way up to the decoy. That kind of threw me off guard, but make sure you destroy the ghost, that way you're not doing that again. And then for the rest of the room, you can do whatever you want. You can see I was like, I have heavy ammo, might as well use it. I probably would have saved most of that for the boss room just because there's a lot of ads. But again, you can see I was picking up orbs. I have Feast of Light ×4. That's ideally what you want to have going into the boss room so you can get an easy boss kill, as well as, all the other enemies that are there. But you are going to have a barrier champion here, so be careful for that. You can see as I walk in, throwing all my abilities, trying to generate tangles, trying to make sure I can do damage. I wanted the tangles to hit the Thrall in front of me, but it automatically went for the boss. But you can see I did get a kill to drop heavy right there, which is pretty useful. And then here you can see I'm just trying to freeze him and do a little bit of damage before that barrier knight shows up. But I didn't want to take any chances there, so I backed up. Pretty much here now, the plan was just to throw threadling grenades, and I saw the barrier champion was already there. So I was like, let me just wait a little bit to get my decoy, because I can take shots at him with my LMG and then break the barrier shield with the barrier rifle. But I was like, you know what, let me just wait. I'm going to get my decoy and then I'll use it. So you can see. Here you can see I'm pretty much checking to see how many AI are left. And once I get rid of them, I was like, alright, I'm going to go try this. Run past those enemies. And I wanted to get rid of the barrier knight first because I know they're going to be the most annoying. Throw the decoy down. And then I brought my barrier rifle out just to see if I could break the shield. And then I ended up getting the finish, I believe. Okay, no, I just ended up popping super because I didn't want to die. So you can see, get rid of the ads that are close to you. That way you're not about to die. And then I just kept spamming this attack. You can see easy kill. Then I try to get rid of as many here as I could. But be careful with the firefly / moths that are here because they will do damage. You're going to see that I actually almost end up dying here because of all the solar damage as well as the moths almost killing me. You can see that was a lot of solar damage there. I'm actually one shot, and I ended up just making sure that I wasn't going to die right there to the moths. But again, it got pretty hectic, but with this super and the class setup, it's very easy. Throw decoys down, catch their attention, and then run around, do whatever you got to do. But you can see a 6-minute run, in my opinion, here is not bad at all. Normally, I wouldn't recommend this Lost Sector, but I would say, judging, I think we did better than when we were using Malfeasance last time. I will have to double check that, but I don't know, I felt like I did it a lot faster here. So, if you found it useful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. Drop a follow on my Twitch, twitch.tv/SmokeisJam0, and a playlist with all my Destiny 2 Season of the Witch Legend Lost Sector guides will be popping up on screen right now. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.